Hey guys, welcome back to another video. So I can't stay away from this channel if I have something to say. Clearly I do have a problem, but what can you do? This channel is my hobby and I really enjoy making these videos. Anyway, at this point I'm completely embracing the nickname that I have earned on this channel, the doom and gloom of trucking. Do you want to know why? Because again, I don't have the greatest news and trucking is again faced with new challenges right now, and it is my job to tell you how it is, not how it ought to be. So let's chat about what else is in store for us in this darn industry. Ready? Let's go! All right, so first let's start off by chatting about the folks who actually have the money to hand out to us poor truckers in this industry. So according to the Journal of Commerce, and I quote, spending by shippers decreased 27.9% year over year and 16.8% from the fourth quarter. Shipper freight spending fell disproportionately more than volumes, suggesting downward pressure on truck rates during the quarter and lowering the truckload market's floor. Clearly, shippers are having a grand old time right now saving money, as they should, because this is business, right? So how bad is the trucking industry right now? Well, it's bad. On Wednesday, April 24th, Knight-Swift announced a $2.6 million net loss for their first quarter, while operating profit dropped 85.8% to $20.6 million. Now, if you have listened to or read the news, you will know that for the first quarter of 2024, the big players are reporting pretty crappy numbers. To top it off, according to FreightWaves, a 92-year-old trucking company, Arnold Transportation Services of Grand Prairie, Texas, ceased operations recently and filed for Chapter 7, not Chapter 11, Chapter 7 bankruptcy liquidation. And three affiliated companies, Parker Global Enterprises, Parker Transport Company, and DVP Holding Corp., also filed for Chapter 7 liquidation in the U.S. Bankruptcy Court for the District of Delaware. Now, Arnold Transportation had 341 truck drivers and 402 power units. Now, can this industry get any scarier? Well, let's be real here. Yes, it can. The scariest part is that the big carriers are starting to kind of turn away from the contract market, which on one hand should be increasing those tender rejection rates, but not enough to make a dent in the spot market rates if all those trucks start relying on spot freight. Now, according to Overdrive, get ready. The spot market story isn't just about small carriers. Even some of the biggest carriers have relied on spot freight as contract volumes and rates also take a beating. Knight-Swift, in a recent earning release, admitted they'd rather not sign year-long contracts near the bottom of the market. The early part of the bid season led to greater than expected pressure on freight rates as some shippers are still trying to push rates down further. In some cases, we have lost contractual volumes because we were not willing to commit to further concessions on what we view as unsustainable contractual rates. This resulted in more of our capacity being allocated to the spot market. This is Knight-Swift. So what now? We have shippers driving down rates because, let's be real here, they can. We have brokers driving rates down because they're competing with an overcapacity of other brokers. We have carriers driving rates down as they compete with other carriers. And now we have the mammoths of the industry adding capacity to the already oversaturated spot market. Well then, and on top of that, for those of you who are not aware, the bill was introduced at the end of 2023 to, wait for it, increase the minimum liability insurance from $750,000 like it is right now to $5 million. Now, to be fair, of course, this is being opposed. I'd be surprised if it wasn't. And Representative Mike Collins of Georgia said that this would actually destroy the trucking industry. I quote, Collins said it must be kept in mind that 98% of trucking companies have 10 trucks or fewer. And he said they're not even valued at $5 million. There's no way that 98% of trucking companies can afford a $5 million policy. The trucking companies that can withstand the increase will be forced to increase prices. It's the same as with anything where the government gets involved. Somebody is going to pay for whatever happens, and that's going to be passed on to the consumer. Trucking rates are going to go through the roof, and consumer prices are just going to skyrocket. Now, despite being called the doom and gloom of trucking, I do always try to bring at least some semblance of good news in the worst of situations. And in this case, let's talk about what analysts and experts and CEOs are saying when it comes to a market turnaround. Well, according to the Journal of Commerce, similar to CEOs across trucking, Miller, the CEO of Knight-Swift, is looking for a catalyst that will bring about that inflection. However, he said it's hard to know what's going to be the catalyst here. The last few truckload pricing cycles have all had unique catalysts that led to a spike in rates. In 2014, it was a weather event. In 2017, the electronic logging device mandate. And then obviously we had COVID, and that kicked off huge demand. Unfortunately, there is no such obvious trigger on the horizon today. Capacity has left the market, but not enough to flip the market. Knight-Swift has been cutting trucks from its fleets for the past several quarters to get through the down cycle, he said. So opinion number one is that we actually need a catalyst to turn this ship around. Anyone have any ideas of what a catalyst could be? Personally, I vote for an alien invasion. Now, another opinion by ACT Research, which was quite interesting, they said that a US freight market recovery may be coming sooner than expected, likely within a couple of months. That's a more optimistic call than most forecasts, but ACT sees truck capacity coming into closer alignment with rising freight demand. That's not because capacity is leaving the market, as many observers expect to happen, but because companies are no longer adding as much capacity, especially to private fleets run by shippers. Now, ACT continues to say that Class 8 truck orders dropped 8.4% year over year in March after a year of growth. And March trailer orders were also down by 25%. So yeah, I am fully aware of the fact that this video is definitely not what we all wanted to hear right now, and reality can be a very tough pill to swallow. But I'm still of the mindset that if you want to survive this market, the first thing you should be doing, not the only thing, but the first thing you should be doing is cutting those expenses. But at the same time, there are certain things that can happen that are completely out of our control. For example, if heaven forbid that 5 million insurance mandate gets passed, I'm not sure what I or anyone else will do. Is it likely for it to pass? I hope not. Death by insurance premiums. One thing I do have to mention though, I have been in this industry for the past 5 years, and I have poured my blood, sweat, and tears, a lot of tears, into this industry. And that means that half of my experience in this industry is with a market that is worse than anyone could have imagined. And you know what? I am grateful for that, because this has taught me how to adapt really quickly and definitely prepared me for the future. If you guys haven't realized yet, I'm trying to teach myself primarily how to make light or find something good in the most challenging situation. And honestly, I recommend everyone do that. Otherwise, the bad will end up eating you alive. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for joining me today and listening to this not so great news video. Wishing you all flexibility, adaptability, health, a lot of health, and a wonderful weekend. See you in the next video.